Political parties and candidates in Senegal are holding their final campaign rallies ahead of the country's legislative elections on Sunday. 165 parliamentary seats are up for grabs, with President Macky Sall's ruling coalition keen to retain a majority. 7 million people are eligible to vote. As Senegalese citizens, what we expect is a big change in the assembly, a national assembly that fully plays its role in controlling the government. The Senegalese are obliged to face up to it and give their point of view to history. What is history? Today it is to advocate change with regard to the National Assembly. Today we need a coalition, and this coalition will allow the executive to work in harmony with the opposition so that Senegal can move forward. Two opposition coalitions have allied to claim a bigger share of the seats. They believe that defeat in the legislative elections could upset President Macky Sall's plans to seek a third term in 2024. We see that the president seeks to remove all his potential opponents, so we fear that if he has the majority in the National Assembly, he will try to seek a third term. The Senegalese are not fooled anymore. The new assembly must reform the constitution. There are debates that the MPs must definitively settle. The issue of term limits in Senegal must be clarified. The issue of violence in politics must also be addressed. And also, the members of parliament must ensure the independence of the people so that they can have the right to demonstrate without any hindrance. Giant rallies and noisy caravans have crisscrossed the country, generally in a calm atmosphere, whereas the pre-campaign period was marked by violent demonstrations that left at least 3 people dead. The Democratic Republic of Congo on Thursday launched the sale of oil and gas blocks as the Central African country aims to become an oil producer. Government projections say Congo is potentially sitting on 22 billion barrels of oil and 66 billion cubic meters of gas. It is with great pleasure that I have the honor to present to you 7 notices of expression of interest covering 27 oil blocks and gas blocks in Lake Kivu, designed to invite investors from the national and international oil industry to come and bid for tenders with the final objective of awarding hydrocarbon rights. Kinshasa will auction 30 oil and gas blocks in the Cuvette-Centrale Peatlands in the Congo Basin forest and in other ecologically sensitive areas, a move that's angered environmentalists. I would like to reassure our partners of our determination to carry out exploitation and exploration using the most modern technological means that protect the environment, the fauna and flora, and preserve the ecosystems and the ecological balance. Other blocks the DRC plans to auction are found in Lake Kivu and Lake Tanganyika. Kinshasa has defended the move, saying it needs to exploit its resources to develop her economy. As most of South Africa wallows in endless power cuts, this remote whites-only farming town in the country's center is close to producing enough electricity to be self-sufficient. After turning to solar power, the tiny settlement is close to reaching energy supply autonomy.
Generating electricity for Orania is to get self-sufficient. We would like to do our own thing, to generate energy and for this town, for the benefit of the economy of the town, but also for the benefit of the agricultural side of the town.
A few kilometers from the solar plant, Jubet's wife watched as a mechanical tree shaker released pecan nuts during early morning harvesting. The former IT specialist turned farmer said a stable power supply was crucial for her orchard to flourish.
Continuous
water will be pumped. Now you have intermittent power supply, and this affects the watering cycles. It is vital for pecan nut trees to get large amounts of water regularly. With funding from the municipality and private investors, Orania began building its solar farm in June last year. Just 12 months later, the town was generating 841 kilowatt of electricity per hour.
And there's lots of people, and I don't think you will ever have a problem for people to invest in Orania. And hopefully they will come. But we need not to rely on that. Okay. So what is happening now? We generate electricity here. The town council buy it from us. This plant is a private company.
South Africa has in recent years been plagued by erratic power supply, which many blame on the aging coal-fired plants operated by energy giant Eskom. The front-runners in Kenya's presidential election have summoned all the tricks to appeal to the country's youth, from turning campaign rallies into carnival-like events to creating social media videos. The candidates are engaged in a battle for Kenya's soul and its young voters. The saloon operator says she's even been offered inducements.
I've seen politicians come and give us money. Some will come with 100 bob, 200 bob, 500 bob to give us money so that on the 9th of August we can vote for them.
Despite the efforts by politicians, there is not much enthusiasm from the youth who form a key voting bloc. Disillusionment over lack of jobs and corruption is rampant.
For me, I can't vote because I'm self-independent. I'm doing everything alone and the government is there watching. I'm struggling all alone, I'm paying taxes. So there's no way I can vote if it's not chipping into my life.
Kenya ranks among the world's youngest countries. 3/4 of its population is aged under 34. Over 22 million Kenyans are eligible to vote in this year's polls, with young people accounting for less than 40% of that number.
There is a high level of voter apathy, especially among the youth, and it's a valid concern to policymakers, to government, to politicians and everyone, because at the end of the day it affects voter turnout, it affects the obligation citizens have in the political process, because it is through voting that wananchi makes their voice known.
The election's main contenders, Raila Odinga and William Ruto, are 77 and 55 years old respectively. In Senegal's city of St. Louis, the canoe race is the biggest highlight of the year. The regatta, held annually, sees hundreds of men board long wooden pirogues to race 2.5 kilometers through the estuary where the Senegal River meets the Atlantic. The St. Louis regattas are games that are now part of our DNA. Our grandparents used to take part in them. Today it is our children who carry on this legacy. Whenever this event happens, all the people from the neighborhood come to attend. There are even people who have come from Spain to attend the regattas. Within the same family, there can be competitors. Members of the same family can support different teams. St. Louis fishermen are divided into 3 teams, each representing a geographical section of the Old Quarter. Groups of between 50 and 70 people from each team compete in one of 3 race categories. Separate races are also held for fishermen from elsewhere around the country. Nowhere is there a competition of this magnitude. It's only in the regattas of St. Louis where the teams are required to overturn their canoes and then get back in and continue the race. This is unheard of, and you only see it here in St. Louis. The winning team is captained by Kotai Nyang, a racing veteran of 20 years. This year is special because he broke a 5-year dominance by a rival team. Today we have huge power in our hands. It is a great success because it's been more than 5 years since another team won the trophy. And today we have dethroned them. All those who live in deck feel like kings today. The city's fishermen have been racing recreationally for over a century, but the event became more formalized in the 1950s.